Alright, everybody, I want to welcome you back to the Cult of Larry Draft League. It is finals week. Okay, and we have some wonderful matches slotted up for you today. I'm going to be going over all of them in great gory detail, and then follow that up where you have winners interviews. This has been a long time coming. This has been a wonderful season, a long, great season, and I'm so happy to have shared it with you all. I think without further ado, we're going to get into it. We're going to start with an initiate here. And as you can see, the paths that they've taken, we have Jeg versus Froggy. Jeg has had a wonderful season. He was able to, in his path down, he was able to take out Bloop, and then he was able to take out Mike CW. Froggy, on the other hand, came in as a replacement coach and had almost no shot at playoffs, and then comes in and immediately, huge upset against Shark, and then takes it over Josh, and now we have the matchup is set in the finals. So let's take a peek here at what the matchup brings. We have here on Frog side the Silvally, the Mega Gardevoir, Vikavolt, Barraskewda, Skarmory, and Garchomp. And over on Jeg side we have the Corviknight, the Mega Ampharos, the Shifu Single Strike, Gengar, Tangela, and Gligar. So, when I look at this matchup, what I see is what can handle things like Chomp and Mega Gardevoir, and what can handle Gengar and Urshifu. Urshifu almost certainly has to be checked by either like a Fairy Mega or Fairy Silvally, because neutral Wicked Blow for Mega Gardevoir, or it has to be Skarmory, because Skarmory is, other than band sets, Skarmory, well, I guess Band and Life Orb. Band and Life Orb can guarantee the 2-hit KO on Skarm. If not, it's a 3-hit KO. You don't really want to be messing around too much with it. Roosting's a bit dangerous, but you know, you can get some hazards. You get a Spike Up, you with a Rocky Helmet, and that Urshifu's pretty limited. Now, what do we have on the other side to go up against? The Gengar. Well, the Gengar can be handled with, like, kind of depends. It's a limited check, but some Silvally sets can still do it. Some Garchomp sets can take a few hits. So like an AV Chomp can probably take 3 or 4. But like the Gengar, any chance it has to come in on the Silvally is just a free Shadow Ball, and there's, depending on, again, you know, if it's a Fairy Silvally to check their Shifu, then even that takes a ton of damage. So the Gengar's looking pretty here. Tangela is really nice for like a Garchomp. I mean, Corv's really nice too, but Corv may need to be especially defensive or save itself for the Barraskewda. Same thing with Gligar, you can kind of do mix, but that'll be get up your rocks, and any chance you can get the Mega Ampharos in on the Skarmory is a free chance for it to do damage. It's really hard to switch into it with the dual stab. Let's see, let's check this music. Just a little teensy bit loud, so we are just gonna turn it down. Alright. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this match. Alright, so 3, 2, 1, this is on normal speed. So we have the Silvally lead, and we see that it's normal. So Froggy's been running a lot of specs. Silvally with like Hyper Voice. Okay, good U-turn. Everything looks good here. We get some Rocky Helmet chip. Alright, Agility Ampharos. So we're ready to go. The Focus Blast is not Oko, but the Silvally is down, and the Ampharos is still set up. So do we risk it on the Vikavolt? No. Good switches on both. Let's see if we get either U-turn or Stealth Rock would be nice. Alright, so the fact that Gengar comes in implies that it is a Scarf Gengar. 34, that's a good number, so 2 more attacks and it's likely to take out the Garchomp. Dragon Tail, Tank Chomp. don't know if that's an AV set though. I'm loving these U-turns from Jeg to get these Mons in. So Toxic, it's nice. If he, I'm guessing he doesn't have Stealth Rock if he isn't clicking Rock on one of these turns. Alright, alright. It's a good chance to go into Tangela. Tangela, though, kind of invites in, yeah, the Gardevoir. So, the Gardevoir can really do whatever it wants here. Alright, and it is a substitute guard. So, whatever coverage move it has for, yeah, Corviknight is very free. And, man, that Thunderbolt is gonna go ahead and 2-hit KO that Corv. So with the Corv down, guard's even scarier. But the Barraskewda goes down, so now the speed is definitely in Jeg's favor. We want to see a U-turn out now. Okay, Ampharos should come back in. You could agility here. Whew. That was a big turn there. And it's Sleep Powder. Oof. Leech Seed. I don't know if this Tangela has any attacking moves. His guard's back up to full. This is dangerous. Alright, go to the Gligar. Hyper Voice. Okay. Substitute. U-turn does not break. Okay. I think what you need to do is... Oh. Okay, I'm going to stop it there for a second. So, we had a Wicked Blow on the Mega Gardevoir. And the guard just, you know, takes out the Urshifu, which makes a lot of sense why you would want to do that. Because it's such a huge threat. Like, damage-wise, it can probably, at this point, KO everything else. Let's see what Skarm's health, 95. Okay, so can't KO Skarm right now, but... So I think Jeg clicked Wicked Blow there, expecting guard to just set up another sub. I think, though, you're okay with that. At least playing the game. Gengar almost certainly lives one Hyper Voice, and guard. We've seen all 4 moves, and it'll live the Thunderbolt too. I think you just try and get the Gardevoir in, and you always have the Mega Ampharos to sack or the Gligar to sack to it. Because if Gengar gets in, like here after it uses Hyper Voice, yeah, something is going to die to Shadow Ball. Because this has 72, and if Skarm goes down, then presumably the Scarf Urshifu then just cleans up. So I think that's probably the turn. Now, this is still a Scarf Gengar. Garchomp is in 2-hit KO range, so you're gonna click Shadow Ball here, and I'm gonna guess he's gonna sack the Skarm now that Urshifu's gone, but so you can sack that, or you can maybe double to the Mega Ampharos and try and get set back up, but I don't know. Oh, okay, so he sacks the Vikavolt. Yeah, so then we switch into the Mega Ampharos. Probably should have just gone to the Gligar there, but oh, Gligar is really low too. Dazzling Gleam is just not enough. But even if it takes it out, you know, the Gardevoir just comes back in and starts throwing out attacks. Because I don't think the Dazzling Gleam is gonna 3-hit KO. But it's really well done by Froggy. It's quite an incredible match, and Jeg was just the one turn, and I don't even think it's all that bad of a move, because if he clicks U-turn there and, you know, Frog just sets up another sub, then, well, Gengar's in trouble. Gengar is going to end up taking like 90% from the Hyper Voice, and then it just switches out, and we're kind of back to the same place, so maybe it's okay. I guess it comes down to the calc, and I would need to see the calc to really know, like how much damage does Gengar take from Hyper Voice, or worse, does it take from Thunderbolt and like risk the para? Because if you catch it in the, like if you Wicked Blow there, as it just sets up another sub, you know, then you can switch around, force another recover. I get it. I don't think that's the right move, but I do get it. So with that, let's take a look at our final bracket here. And we see our big champion is Froggy of the top heavy toads. Congratulations to Froggy. We in fact have a nice interview with him, so please stick around, listen to that, and then we'll get right back into it for Disciple. Alright everybody, and I have with me here today our initiate champion, Froggy. Froggy, how does it feel? How are you feeling?
It feels it feels weird, honestly. It's a good weird. I was not expecting be here, certainly. It was weird.
Yeah, I'll
Weird.
set the stage for everyone just as a bit of a reminder, because you took over a team, and I'm pretty sure in the advert for that team I said, virtually 0% chance you make playoffs.
Yeah,
you
so
took over like a 2-5 team or something, or 2-4.
Team was 1-5. There were 3 matches left, and I was told that playoffs wasn't really on the table. And I wanted the team just because I had never played draft before. I looked fun. I had seen some people on YouTube do it, and I was like, this looks fun. I'll play a few matches. Maybe new games coming out, so I can get in on the next season, hopefully. And then everything else happened.
Yeah, and I mean you ran the table. You didn't drop a single match?
Yeah.
But it wasn't just like you didn't just drop a match. You like brought some really creative stuff. Where like on its own, I've seen a lot of this stuff before. Choice Spec Silvally was a bring. You made a lot of work out of like offensive Vikavolt with like life orbs and such, while going defensive chomps. And I think maybe most impressive was your creativity with Mega Gardevoir. You had a sub recover set in the finals, but I think even before that, I want to say you had an imprison set to stop a Porygon 2?
Yeah, so the Porygon 2 set, I hate that Pokemon. It's so bulky, and all it does is switch out. And I was looking at what I could do to beat it, because I didn't really have anything good to break it besides Sneasler.
Mm-hmm.
Sneasler had, there were good switch-ins for Sneasler, so I knew that I would never be able to catch it. And I realized that if I could shut down its ability to switch out, then I could stop its momentum, and that led to Imprison Teleport Gardevoir, because I only needed Hyper Voice offensively for that match.
Yeah, and that was it's a type of creativity I would never come up with. I look at those stats and I go, well, Calm Mind 3 attacks, maybe recover since it actually has it in PLA, but I'm like, well, 165 special attack. If you ain't attacking, you're losing. But that's also why I'm not great with mons like that. A little one-dimensional. But so if this is your first time doing Draft League, like you took over the team, so you didn't draft it, but you made some changes right off the bat. Did you have the Politoed initially on your team, or did you pick it up as a part of strategy, or was it
I believe the only Pokemon from the initial team that I kept was the Steel Dragon Fairy core of Mega Gardevoir, Garchomp, and Skarmory. I believe I switched out everything else for something different.
Yeah, and I mean, you picked up a small rain core, the Silvally, Vikavolt, and it's like everything seemed to get used, and back to the unorthodox sets. It's it's not that you never see it, but like, I think last week of regular season you ran like the Specs Politoed, and it's like, whew, haven't seen that in a while, and yeah, it smacks in rain. Go figure.
Yeah, no, it's Specs Politoed and Rain is very, very scary if you're not preparing for it.
Do you play any other Smogon formats? Because like, kind of tell like this is not your first time around the builder.
I mostly played. I got into competitive around Gen 7. I mostly played OU. I went down a division or two. Just when you inevitably get bored of OU, you want variety. Same thing with Gen 8. I played quite a bit of ladder when it first came out. Past 6 months, I haven't as much, just because it got really stale. But that was part of the reason I started looking into draft, was because it was something different, and it was a format that looked very interesting to me.
Yeah, and so if you first got into competitive Pokemon in Gen 7, when did you first get into Pokemon in general?
That would have been Gen 5, actually, was my first game.
Mm-hmm. And
I had a copy of White on my original garbage DS that really turned on.
and yeah, and the rest, I guess, after that is history. Did you keep playing through Gen 6 and come back in Gen 7, or you take a little break? Always interested.
Yeah.
Everyone has like a little bit of a different story but there's usually, you play a little bit, then there's a break, then you come back and you're hooked forever.
So I actually, when Gen 6 came out, I actually went backwards first. I went, because I'd only played Gen 5, and I sort of went back and, played, Emerald and Platinum and, Heart Gold and, all the games sort of leading up to that. And then I arrived in Gen 6 pretty late. It was probably about a year. It was when I finally got a 3DS. And that was, and so I played Gen 6. I didn't do any competitive stuff, and then Gen 7 I found like Showdown and all that, and that was how I was able to get into it. I didn't have the patience to, EV train and breed for IVs or anything like that.
I've never. I think that's like the weakest part of the game, honestly, and it's such a huge barrier to entry to me, even after they've made it so much easier over the years. Like my first draft league was a draft league on cart, and I bought a separate 2DS that I could gen in months, because you can't spend the time breeding and doing stuff with legendaries. But then eventually it switched over to Showdown, and I found the draft leagues on Showdown, and it's like, oh, okay, this is much better. This is just much better. I
can build and test 3 teams in an afternoon versus 3 weeks.
I mean, for the people who do like breed and gen stuff, or breed for fun, like good for them. I'm like happy that they understand all the mechanics and stuff. I never bothered with it. It's like, I think I've bred like 3 Pokemon, and I just couldn't do it. It's too hard.
Yeah, no, it is not fun.
And sure, it's easier now, but like it's still too much for me. But yeah, so we have moved into the new gen. Did you get the new games, or one of them?
Yes, I have a copy of Violet.
Have you gotten a chance to play it?
I have. I poured most of my holiday break into it.
All right. I haven't gotten a chance to play too much of it. I'm at the first. I guess it's like a Pokemon gas station center. They're a little different, but it seems nice. I skipped Sword and Shield just because life. You know, I was one of those people mad about Dexit, and now I just don't care. It's like,
Yeah, I was initially a bit upset about it just because they cut a lot of things that I liked, but it's as long as they're cycling ones that they missed in the last one into the new one, I can live with it.
Yeah, same. And ultimately, I do enjoy the game, so it's not I have all my old games. I can still go back and play them, except for like the really old ones because the batteries don't work in the cartridges anymore. So, you know, overlooking that small fact.
Right.
But yeah, so you think you'll stick around and do some Gen 9 drafts when they come up?
Absolutely. I've already been tinkering with some stuff on ladder.
Oh, wonderful. Do you have any thoughts on some of the big time mons that you maybe want to try and draft?
Well, I don't know if I don't know how many things are going to remain unbanned. Because there are some things that I think should probably get banned.
The thing too is, remember, sometimes things will remain in the draft format that get banned from OU. Like Dracovish isn't busted in draft format because it's just such a singular mon that you can really kind of counter team against. So you have to have answers, but like it's not.
Well, I'm not sure that Fluttermane. I'm not sure that Fluttermane.
Oh no, that's gone. That's
much
actually
of an answer.
No, that's gone. Like there's a Uber's draft going on right now that a lot of people are taking apart in, and Fluttermane was going as a top pick among other things like Marshadow, Mewtwo. So
that does not surprise me.
It's gonna be a top tier Uber. It's just too good. Stats are too good. Offensive typing's too good. And it was in OU for a hot minute. I always remember. But who's to say once you open up everything to the Nat decks? I mean, that'll never come back down to OU, but it may not be as. Never mind. I can't really think of anything that can actually answer it.
I mean, you need a physical ghost type. You need to hope that it doesn't Terra into something resists it, right? It's a physical ghost or dark type with priority. That's what you need.
Yeah, I kind of like this new Terra mechanic. I find it really interesting. I don't know if it's balanced or not. I'm not good enough to say that one way or the other, but it's really interesting, especially compared to the last two gimmicks between Z moves and Dynamax. So we'll see if they survive in draft. I think we're gonna at CLDL we're gonna definitely keep it for at least one season. In what format? Not 100% sure yet, but it's worthwhile to at least try.
Terra or not, I think that the new Pokemon are gonna make draft very, very refreshing.
I just want to use my big angry monkey man.
Yeah.
But I just wanna troll. I just wanna scarf the Annihilate and Final Gambit right off the bat. Let's go. Well, I mean, most mons will die from turn 1 if you just want to trade. So
I'm looking forward to Tinkaton strats personally.
Mega Mile, but better. Can't miss it.
Yes,
big stab
better,
attack.
Better Mawile.
Well, okay, we're getting pretty close to the 15-minute mark here, so I gotta say thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. I'm gonna leave you with a chance here. Any last words on anything whatsoever you want to say?
Well, I won Initiate this season, so it makes sense that I would win. Next, because I promote, right?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, so I'll just win Disciple, Gen 9.
Perfect. Perfect. That's the right kind of attitude. Well, we look forward to having you around, and thank you so much again for the time, Froggy. Appreciate it.
Of course, happy to talk.
Wow, that was wonderful. I know I just closed out with a thanks again to Froggy. That was really nice of him to give me the time for the interview, and we look forward to seeing what he can do in Season 3 up in Gary Division. Although, speaking of Gary, we're going to pop in here. Let's see what we got to work with. Here in Gary, we have a wonderful match setup between Seoul, the Vancouver Pavilions, and Waka of his Chestnuts. I can't remember. I'm sorry, Waka. Seoul has been on a tear this season, a near perfect season, and it's just dominated. And if it weren't for that domination, that level of domination, we would probably say the same thing about Waka's season. This is the 1 and 2 seeds meeting up here in the finals. Like, Seoul was able to take down the Shroomish, and Waka had an exceptionally good battle in the semifinals, taking down Iris with a cool Thunder Wave Hex Nihilego. So we're gonna hop into this match now. So we gotta switch over the matches. So alright, here on Waka's side, we have the Tornadus Therian, the Komodo, the Kartana, Mega Slowbro, Rotom Heat, and the Obstagoon. And on Soul side, we have Mega Deontay, Victini, Ferrothorn, Porygon 2, oh yeah, Blastoise, and Whimsicott. After I said Mega Deontay, I still was thinking, is that Mega Blastoise? Yeah, anywho. So this is a cool matchup. So in a lot of ways, there's nothing switching into Mega Deontay. So I just look at this right now. Like, Kartana ain't switching into Moonblast. It's probably gonna take like 70%, 60%. It doesn't matter. It's gonna die. Now, so you just need to like find ways to get this mon in, especially against the Rotom, the Slowbro, and the Obstagoon. Any of those, or even the Komodo before it sets up. Any of those mons, you just can click basically Moonblast for free. Because what are you gonna do? Switch in the Torn, 60%. Switch in Rotom. All right, cool. We have a Diamond Storm following it up. So like that's all you need against these mons. Victini can really do whatever it wants. It probably is taking a special set because of the Slowbro, but you can do something cool like U-turn, Encore, if the Slowbro tries to set up. So I think that could potentially be an interesting way to break that. Ferrothorn just wants to get some hazards up and make sure the Kartana doesn't carry the game away too far. Porygon 2 pivots into Mega Deontay. Blastoise can do Shell Smash in this match, or it can just be a bulky pivot too, and Whimsicott's just there to, run support. Now, here on Waka's side, the Kartana's really threatening as well. If you can get rid of the Blastoise or the Ferrothorn just gets weak enough, it's ready to run over the game. It's probably a good week for it to be Scarf. You have two great pivots in the Slowbro and the Rotom Heat, so it's a great way to get Kartana in, or to even get the Tornadus in if you're running that offensively. Or Obstagoon even, because this is a game where Obstagoon doesn't really want to switch into anything, but like if you get it in on the Rotom, that's super scary, or if it's unset up Blastoise, that's really scary too. But one boost and Kartana's looking to just run away with the game. So without further ado, let's get into this and see what we have. So Waka leads with the Tornadus Therian against the Victini. That's totally cool. Alright, so yeah, U-turn for Soul. We get in. I always love seeing Trace Regenerator. we trade toxics. Both players are gonna be pretty happy with this. We get a slack off and we get a teleport. And we go right into the Whimsicott. We see a sub. Is it gonna be sub leech? That'd be pretty cool. Alright. It's a nice time to encore because now you force it to switch out and you can get the leech seed up. Or that. It's fine too. It does almost as much damage. So here's now you get to click sub again. Yeah, this is how you wear it down. Should be moonblasting here. Yeah, because you didn't want to risk the U-turn. And now you'll do another. This is great chip. I would just moonblast again here. I don't think he's gonna. Yeah, Soul's playing this really well. Okay, now you switch out. You go to Ferrothorn. So it's leftover, so we just get the one Iron Barbs. Do we get it? What a great double. Ooh, we're going for the rock polish now. This may be a little early, yeah. Just a little bit early. I want to see some hazards now. Oh, or not. It's a flamethrower, dang. Okay, so Waka takes down the Ferrothorn before any hazards can come up, and that's really big. Lumberry. Okay, so even it up, and that's a big pivot down. The obstruct. That's not a very common move. Yeah, and then he lived. So that's a cool move there to like guarantee the same ideas of protect to guarantee the burn orb, because without the burn orb, there's almost certainly no way that Okos, because it's just a 70 base power move. But then like his attack and base power go through the roof once he's burned. I want to kind of know how close Soul was to just clicking Cell Smash again. Did he have any clue that there'd be obstruct, or just think that he lived that first turn regardless? Because one more Soul Smash there and just cleans house. There's no priority to take advantage of that. Now, he's still extremely threatening. Mega Deontay's super scary. Still, Victini was probably waiting a little bit on Rotom Heat to get a little bit lower. And, Whimsicott can still do silly things, and you have a nice pivot. Eventually, Porygon 2 is going to need to be sacked. Okay, so we're trying to pivot here. We should see the Porygon 2. I don't think Mega Deontay comes in. We had a game early in the season where like an Iron Tail Tornadus like just demolished it. No, that was Iron Tail. Mega Lopunny. So, but the idea is still the same. All right, come on, comes in. Substitute. So I think yeah. Oh, right, encore. So we set up the sub. We go to this, get the leech seed for the taunt. Ah, that's good. That's nice. I mean, because of regenerator, you're not really making any progress with it, but it does force it out. When the Rotom Heat comes back in, yeah, there you go. You're taunted, so you gotta get out. But like, look, 31, and once that goes down, like that starts chunking. It's a good time to teleport. Oh wait, it's taunt. Dang. That's a really good taunt from Waka. I think this is time for the Kartana to come back in. This battle's being played really well. A nice sub to scout out the move. think it's Scarf, which I would think it's Scarf after 2 in the same. Time to go get in Victini. And at this point, just let off a big move. Alright, V creates a real option. The Komodo just kind of stops it in its tracks, though. I think he needs to be special for the Komodo. And at this point, he may have Drain Punch here. Because I think you need a move to hit it, yeah. But this is probably when you need to encore the Drain Punch. Yes, yes, yes. And now you can pretty freely get the sub down here. There's no reason for Waka to switch out this turn. But I'd throw out a Leech Seed here. I don't think he's going to stay in, so... Okay, it's a decent idea. Let's see if we get a Leech Seed here. Look at that, 38. So we go to the Porygon, get the Beast Boost, and this goes down. I just don't. All right, we gotta get some progress here. What do we use against the Komodo? Dazzling Gleam. Only does 61. I don't think there's any investment here. Nice double, and there's the Iron Tail. Oof. I think that may be it. Because I think without the RP, there's not any way to take it down. Yeah. And so at this point, it's probably not enough anyway. Yeah, and Kartana's able to take it. Wow, that was really well done by Waka. And Soul played that really well too. Some great doubles, especially at the end, and it was just the Iron Tail hit. Like, it was a 75% chance. And yeah, it'd be the way sometimes. So, congratulations. Let's pop open the bracket, and there's your Season 2 champion. It's Waka. So, again, we got a nice winners interview, so we're going to take it over to the interview with Waka.
Alright, so we're going to get into a little interview session here. I have with me the Disciple winner, Waka himself, or Jeg's wifey if you go by his current Discord name.
So hi everyone, it's Wacker.
How are you feeling about the big win?
It kind of never hit me, but when I like think about it, it feels good, but it doesn't feel real, you know?
No, I can understand that, because it was a really hard fought like finals, and I don't think you had an exactly easy path either. Like, you played Rock, then Iris, and then Soul to finish it out, and like Soul was the one person who we can probably say, like, if we look at the season as a whole, had a stronger season than you. Like,
yeah, for sure. I think throughout the season, when I was looking at Soul's record, I believe I was the closest to beating them. And I think when I lost, it was like the Diancie had like 30% of its health left, and that was pretty much it.
Did you?
But it was a really close game.
When you played him in the regular season, was that before or after you made a couple of transactions a few weeks in for like the Mega Slow
I think
Bro?
it was either like the next week I made transactions or the week after, because I remember one of my transactions was I used Mega Aggron and Slowking to Kartana Mega Slowbro,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember using Aggron and Slowking in that battle. That was like the only time that they actually performed well for me, and I felt bad for trading them. But
Nah, I mean,
yeah,
you can't feel too bad.
Week 5 or 6.
You basically, I mean, we had 3 Mega Slowbros between all divisions. A12 and Masters didn't really use it too terribly much. But like Shark was using it as a sweeper, and you were using it as like, oh, it's a Slowbro that can't be knocked off. Cool.
My reasoning for picking it up over Slowking was because even though my team didn't really have a good split F wall, especially because I rarely use Nihiligo. Like you could pretty much pretend like Nihiligo wasn't on my team up until semifinals. And I was struggling more with like physical attackers for some reason. So I was like, you know what? I'm picking up Slowbro. I'm gonna Mega Evolve it and not get crit because I had a problem with getting crit a lot
Your games had a lot of
and also
crits in
critting
both
people.
directions.
It happened in both directions, yeah, but it was like a weird time period where I kept losing every single game to like some random stupid crit, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with that. I'm picking up Slowbro. And then I never Mega Evolved it until like the final game.
I mean, yeah,
But
it's
it's okay.
it's funny like that though. Like those trades absolutely just worked out well for you. I think I was a bit skeptical at the time because you know you just did, like for the 1-for-1. I'm like, Mega Aggron's a lot less passive than Mega Slowbro, and people in you know non bottom divs tend to know how to play around Slowbro. That doesn't mean like you don't get to a point where it's like, oh well, nothing I can do. He's gonna click Calm Mind Rest, and I'm gonna lose. Great. Um, but
Yeah, and I don't think I ever ran that. I just ran like the bulky Scald Flamethrower teleport slack off
yeah,
type stuff.
yeah, I think a lot of times I saw you just use it, and you would teleport into either like Komo'o or Obstagoon a lot.
Yeah, that was my idea behind like the mid draft was I was like, people are telling me don't pick up Obstagoon, so I did. And I was like, well, I have Slowking to teleport into it, and Obstagoon can deal with a lot of stuff that Slowking doesn't like. So,
I
and it's a
mean,
free Flame Orb,
it's
so you
I'd
don't have
have
to
to
worry
say
about getting that.
even that may in fact be your team's like true MVP that just is like your breaker week to week to week. I've seen I don't think I've or maybe I have in individual games, but like season over season performance, this has got to be like Obstagoon shining star.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I'm looking at my stats right now, and I brought Obstagoon to the same amount of games as Komao, with it got one extra kill.
Yeah,
Komao also did good, but it was only in times where like it would click Clangor Soul and just like sweep.
yeah, that's kind of what I remember. Like, well, you either used it as a sweeper or you're like, all right, we're gonna pump everything into defense and it's gonna wall and it's just gonna stand here and that's okay. That's all I want.
It's gonna slowly die, and then I do something else. I
That's
think
true.
that's mostly what happened when I used it defensively. Is it didn't really do much. It kind of just died. But you know what? It worked.
Okay, so we got a little sidetracked. There's stuff I wanted to talk about anyway, but I want to kind of get back into your final match there because
Yeah.
there was a little bit there, like towards the end, where it was really spooky. Like or I was just waiting for the Mega Deontay to come in and rock polish again, and just like kind of sweep you, because like Torn can't live against a
Yeah, me too. So the way I was playing was I was like I think there was turns where I was either like with the Slowbro or with the Rotom. I clicked overheat once with Rotom, but every other time it came in, I spammed Volt Switch because I knew if Diancie came in, it would just live the hit, Rock Polish, and I'd die or I'd
yeah.
lose the game. And then the Slowbro, I was like, if I click Slack off and I don't die, then I lose. So like I actually wanted Slowbro to die, and I can't remember like how else because the match was like 2 weeks ago, and I can't remember what I ate for breakfast this morning.
No,
But
it was like so at the end because I wrote this down. Like it was basically like the last 10 turns. It was a 4v4. You still had your Torn T. Komo'o was very healthy. Cartana was super healthy, but and your Rotom was like really low. But
yeah, I think the Rotom was like I kind of was glad it was low because I wanted it to die. I think.
yeah, I think you both were in a similar position in that. But like so he still had his Mega Deontay, Victini. Whimsicott, which was low, and a
and
toxic
and the
Porygon. Porygon too.
Yeah.
And I kept waiting for him to sack like Whimsicott on the like Rotom Heat or something like that, just to get in
Yeah,
the Mega Deontay.
I thought there was a time that they would sack the not the Whimsicott, but I think I was hoping they'd sack the Porygon. Well, not hoping, but I was thinking that that would be their play. Because it was already poisoned, and I think it was like it had to recover if it switched in. But Soul played Porygon really well, even when it was poisoned.
Yeah, and I mean there was some point there in the beginning too with the not Mega Blastoise, Shell Smash Blastoise, where I think he could have gotten super aggressive with the second Shell Smash, but like nobody gets that aggressive. You either win or you throw the game.
Yeah.
I think it.
I
Go ahead.
I forgot like kind of what happened there. I believe I misclicked Obstagoon. I meant to go Kartana, and I was like, "This is it. I lose the game." And I kind of maybe gave up a little bit there, but so I misclicked Kartana and I went into Goon, and I was like, if I click Obstruct, if he thinks I'm going into Goon because I'm like Scarf Reckless Double Edge kills the Blastoise like barely, and I can maybe bait him into just trying to either go for the kill or hope that he's modest, and then I can just go in and Kartana him. Because
Yeah.
my Kartana is meant to outspeed +2 modest, because I couldn't outspeed timid. And
No,
I went for the obstruct and it worked.
Yeah, no,
As
that
long
was
as
a
he didn't
cool
have
play.
Aura Spear.
That was a cool play. I remember during that turn because like that was probably the longest turn of the game. Like I even ran a
Yeah, it
quick
was.
calc.
That
I
was
was
half
like,
the game.
does does Blastoise live a facade here? And the answer was kinda, depending on like exact sets and everything with the -1. So I was like, do you click it?
Yeah.
Because then there's always the double edge risk too. And I'm like, whew, I don't know.
Yeah, because
I clicked.
I also went to Goon. I was like, I am burned, and I just kill with facade, and then I realized, oh, I'm not burned yet. Oops.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, now what?
And,
And I just had to go for the hope he goes for the kill rather than click Shell Smash again.
yeah.
And it worked in my favor. Honestly, it was my only play, really. Because if I went Kartana, I lost Kartana. And then everything else died. Komao couldn't do anything, really. Because I believe the only reason Soul for Shell Smashing again was to kill Komao. But, yeah. So, it was like a weird moment where my misplay helped me.
I mean, if you win, is it really a misplay? Yeah, I guess it can be, but it worked out.
Or like a misclick, I guess.
It kind of like the last 10 or 15 turns kind of didn't matter as much as one would think anyway, because we found out later in post game that Mega Deontay didn't have a rock move, so
yeah,
like,
which is a weird choice.
And
not even for the Torn, but
I can understand.
Not even for the Torn, but for the Rotom.
Yeah, that
like not having a rock move for Rotom.
That makes it
Moonblast. What was the other move? Earth Power.
I think it was Earth Power for the Nihilego. But,
okay, yeah, that makes sense. But he did really well with chipping down Rotom. I don't think I used Rotom really well this season, though.
Somehow I feel like you were just running at Assault Vest every week. I know you weren't, because I saw it would come in on like rocks occasionally and nothing happened.
I ran Assault Vest like twice, but it was bulky every week because I was like, am I ever gonna click Nasty Plot? This thing, like, in my opinion, Rotom is so overrated. Not even just heat, but like wash as well. Because people think that they're fat, and I'm like, they come in turn 5, they volt switch, and then they come in again and they die.
Yeah, they're not.
So
it's like if you think of traditional bulky waters, like Rotom Wash would be that for a couple of turns, but they're really just bulky pivots. They're meant to come in, take a hit, do something, get out. What that something
Yeah, pretty
is,
much.
it's up to you. Like, but at least that's how I view it. I don't like what's the recovery pain split. Ugh, that's
And
mileage may
Soul did
vary.
really well with blocking my pain splits too with the substitute. That
Yeah,
Whimsicott was like a really interesting set. Even though it was like pretty much a basic Whimsicott,
I, I
kind of.
I liked it a lot. I love sub leech seed whims. I think that's really
hmm
hard. He threw the encore on, I remember, and
Yeah,
like that can really shut down some things like your Mega Slowbro or any of your other setup stuff. Because
right.
your,
I
'cause
was actually, I
your
think,
dark type's Obstagoon,
expecting.
which doesn't want to tank a Moonblast anyway. So
Yeah, and it was funny because at a certain point I was considering going Obstagoon on the Whimsicott, just because I was like, oh, I'm a dark type, so I'm immune to the prankster crap.
wait a minute.
But I didn't have a fairy resist really, so
Yeah,
um,
well, it'd be that way
I was
sometime. I had a season where I just didn't have a steel type until right at the trade deadline. But whatever.
Mhm.
Well, anyway, congratulations once again. It's been one heck of a season for you. Do you have
Thank you.
any standout sets that you like look back upon and you're like, wow, that worked out way better than I thought it would?
I think for me it was like in terms of plays, it was the Obstagoon versus the Blastoise. And then throughout the rest of the season, I used to like crap all over Kartana, especially because I'm normally a person that likes to run like traditionally like bulky I can't talk bulky Pokemon in general. And because Kartana is like 31 spit F, it dies to like Moonblast. But I realize it's like kind of my play style. This is like the thing I learned this season is that my play style is actually way more offensive than I thought.
Yeah, you had some big hitters, and you just, you know, you just positioned it really well. You had your bulky guys come in, take hits, and reposition. So then, like, you've got a Kartana or Clanging Souls come out ready to just take at least two
hmm
Pokemon out with it. Like, it may not win you the game, but if you're trading 2 for 1, you can't complain about that, you know?
hmm Yeah, that was another thing too. Is Como? I didn't expect it to win like anything because I was like, oh, my opponent has like, I think Rock had like Intimidate Granbull, and I couldn't run Flash Cannon or whatever for some reason. So I was like, I have to kill with Flamethrower, and then he didn't bring it, which was a choice. Well,
I,
it's not very good versus anything but Komodo, but
yeah, it's not a very
um,
good mon, but like, you know, it forces, like, that mon especially forces some weird prep. Like, whenever I have a Coco, like, I see Komodo and I'm like, well, I guess I have to Scarf this week. That's great.
right? Yeah, I think people prep for. It's hard to prep for Komodo,
Yeah.
even though it has so many weaknesses. And for the most part, I was really scared of like all these prankster mons clicking like Thunder Wave versus me. So I had to find out other ways to like kill the mons. I remember throughout the season, I struggled the most with like. I think I was trying to prep for like Klefki, and it was just really hard to deal with Klefki. And I think I focused too much of my prep into it, and then I end up losing to the not even the Klefki. I think I lost to like Hisui and Gudra.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
No,
that was like the week I was like, okay, I'm making trades, I'm clicking buttons.
it's a lot easier to win games when your prep just revolves around, well, do I bandit or do I throw a flame orb on Obstagoon this week? All right, cool. Done with prep. Let's go.
Yeah, I think I threw Flame Orb on Obstagoon like every week. There was times where I really considered running like I wanted to run choice specs versus someone because they had like Galarian Wheezing and Corviknight and Thunderbolt and Hyper Voice like two shot both of them pretty easily. But then
Yeah.
I realized I could just run Adamant Guts and also just two shot them.
I don't think I've seen people do reckless, but I have seen a defiant Obstagoon where they switched it into
That was
like
a
a
thought
parting
too.
shot. And I was
Yeah,
like,
and I thought about like Defiant Scarf like week 1 or so, because Obstagoon is a dark and a normal type, doesn't deal with like Spectre very well, and if it's your only normal type and you're only dark type, then you're gonna lose to stuff like that.
Hmm.
But it kind of worked out in my favor that I also had like the bulletproof Coma-O, and I think for whatever reason I had Noctowl.
Oh, everyone's favorite bulky normal Noctowl.
Noctowl. I didn't know what else to do. I was like, I could pick up Vigoroth, and then someone took it.
That at least has a niche, like with Slack Off and stuff. It can I mean,
Right.
it's good. I know Noctowl has Roost, but it's not
Yeah.
Noctowl, man.
Frandy taught me the ways of Vigoroth. Shout out to Frandy.
After that game, season 1, yeah, I'm a believer. Well, all right.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring this to an end because we're getting close to 20 minutes here. Time just kind of flies. But I want to say thank you so much, Waka, for playing. I think this has been a fantastic season. You gave us one of the best finals we've seen out of the whole existence of CLDL. So congratulations once again. Well earned.
Thank you so much, and thanks for letting me mod. I know I had my moments, but I'm happy to be a part of CLDL. I'm happy to be.
And we're happy to
able
have
to
you.
do stuff.
You're a good influence on the community, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right, again, thank you so much, Waka, for your time. Really appreciate getting the chance to talk with you for a little while and be able to share that with everybody. So we're gonna get into our last div here, and this is Master. Master, this has been building up all season, and is even delayed for hype. We have the match between Yahoodles of the Cleveland Clamp Pearls and Jidon of the Heat Sets Incorporated. And the match didn't happen. Jidon actually forfeited. There just wasn't any time, and he kept delaying and can't wait forever. So congratulations to Yahoodles for a great season. It was a meme season, but so you can't. But I think it says more about the rest of us than it does him. I've got a nice, fun interview with Yahoodles, so we're gonna pop over to that. And here we go. All right, so I have with me our big season 2 champion, Yahoodles, who
Whoa, that's me.
after an incredibly hard-fought finals. Anywho, so how hard was it to show up?
It was really difficult actually. Apparently my opponent, it was just too tough for them, so they couldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably all. I'm gonna get into it. Like, Jidon, whatever you're doing, like, that's fine. It was just a little funny that he, within 2 minutes of you claiming, he's like, all right, that's fine. He leaves the server.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. But let's talk about your season as a whole, because you went a little meme heavy. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
Your
it was certainly interesting.
Your first 3 picks were like Mega Mile, Medicham, and Azumarill. Maybe not in that order, but
In Diggersby, first 4.
and Diggersby. They had a little bit of a huge power theme going on, and hey,
Yeah.
it worked. It's one of those teams I would look at and say this is like objectively bad, but the path
Yes,
to play
absolutely.
the path to play around it is a bit narrow, like you can't just sleep and like expect to win, because you also had like some big hitters like Celesteela, Politoed, and Thundurus and Barraskewda, so it's like you had a mini rain core going on, and not to say anything of Azumarill and rain if you ever get that chance. So it was a cool season, and like you earned your spot. You were 5-4, so it's not
Something like that, yeah.
yeah, not like Cheats McGee. But do you normally draft
like fun course like this, or is this like an end of Gen 8 kind of thing, and you were just like, whatever, let's.
It was sort of an end of Gen 8 thing. It wasn't because it was the end of the gen, but like I found out recently that I do better when I just do fun stuff like that. So
Yeah,
decided to try it out.
yeah. I mean, again, I actually think it's kind of a cool team, and like the meta cham's maybe the only thing that doesn't exactly fit. The rest all
Yeah.
kind of comes together. And like you had some really cool fights along the way. Or is there any particular battle or anything that sticks out to you, whether it can be regular season or playoffs?
I really liked my rematch against P. McGee for
Yeah,
I think that was
yeah,
semis.
that was a really cool match. Those last several turns were, ooh, those were incredible. And I'm
Those
not,
those
I
are
mean,
tough.
like I think it was like a setup Rotom Heat. Like it was at +2, and he had to get the like a few predicts in a row right, and you were switching around between Diggersby, Politoed, and Celesteela, and eventually
Yeah, yeah.
he goes for the overheat, but that's enough. Like Diggersby's able to clean up at that point.
Yeah, I just had to get it away from being +2 so that Diggersby could live anything.
Yeah, so like that was really cool. I thought your rematch against Sparky was pretty cool, just because the first time he stopped you with like a Rocky helmet superior.
Yeah, my Azumarill liquidation gave him a defense drop, which was actually a raise because of contrary, and then I just couldn't break it.
It was it's kind of funny. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
The second match was pretty tight too. In that like the same Mon the stupid grass lizard whatever was able to like beat the Celesteela almost one on one, but he just
yeah,
didn't have anything in the tank to take you down. But
yep. I mean, I was Lumberry, hoping that it would glare me, and then I could have a strong acrobatics and just sweep.
well, it would have worked against me because that's usually my go-to against Celesteela is just paralyze it somehow, some way, and
Yeah,
because heaven forbid I don't like exclusively draft teams that lose to Automai Celesteela.
yeah. I mean, usually there's just one set that absolutely annihilates everything, so
It,
it's just sort of a matter of finding it.
yeah, I've never actually drafted Celesteela. Big fan of it, but sometimes
I've
like
drafted it a few times now. I didn't like it at first, but it's really growing on me.
I never want to pick it up super early, but you know, it never makes it to round 3 or anything. That's crazy. Well,
Yeah.
here it made it to round 5, but there's still lots of new toys hanging around of the Hisuian Mons, which
Mhm.
I don't think you drafted a Hisuian Mon, did you?
I don't think so.
Here, I got the doc up. No, no, you didn't.
No, I
Um,
didn't.
I didn't season 1 either. Just all the fun ones went right away, but this time I was able to get like Hisuian Typhlosion, and Sparky ruined it by like knocking off, or threw up rocks. So like I just wanted to eruption thing. So it's Sparky's fault.
Yep.
So let me ask you a couple questions.
Alright.
Because like you kind of breezed through playoffs, not really, but like you had 2 matches, but we don't really have a finals match to talk about.
Well, yeah.
How did you get into drafting in general? Is this something you've been doing a long time?
Um, Decently long time, but not super long, I think. Sort of quarantine pretty much is when I started. So around 2020. I was just watching like a Pixelmon draft league actually, and then that branched into watching my good friend Goldoa Dragon, and then just sort of joined things from there.
Like so everyone's journey is a little bit different. Did you like what was your first league coming in? Was it one of the bigger ones now? Because I mean, the landscape was entirely different at the beginning of quarantine of what was
Yeah.
big, what wasn't.
Um, my first first league, I think, was just some small friends league. I never really got into anything big until a bit in. after that.
Yeah, you just grind out a few of the small leagues. Eventually, you sneak your way
Yeah.
into a bigger one, and then you're part of the ecosystem forever. It seems.
Yeah, the first thing that I did was a like charity tournament,
Hmm.
and then from there I saw a plug chat and joined um just some random servers. And one of my first, I think maybe my first league was actually PGP
Hmm.
season 2 or something like that, which is really weird.
Yeah, that is a little strange to kind of fall in with like a team thing like that, but I guess it's not
Yeah,
impossible.
it was a good learning experience.
Yeah, I've done it once, and I'm not really eager to do it again. The pressure's way too high playing for a team.
Yeah,
It's a
there was a big team tour today that I was supposed to get drafted in. One of the captains came and told me that they would get me, and then they didn't, which I'm sort of thankful for because then that means I don't actually play.
Is it
I
the
just relax.
PWS?
Yeah,
Or
that.
yeah, I put in an app, but I was like, well, I'm not gonna advertise myself, so I won't get picked. Because at a point, I was like, I don't think I really want to play over December. It
Yeah,
doesn't sound any fun.
yeah. Sort of
uh,
how I'm feeling. Yeah.
but yeah, so we're in between gens now. Are you taking a little break, or what's your plans going into Gen 9?
Sort of. Yeah. I am still like I'm not sure what I want to do because I'm still spoiler free for the
Mm-hmm.
most part.
Well, I can't
So
spoil
I'm
anything for you because I'm 30 minutes into the game, unless like you get to pick one of the 3 starters. I can tell you that.
Yep.
So
I actually I picked one of those. I'm a decent bit in, but I'm doing everything super out of order. So nah.
yeah, I I know the mons just because I've been playing a bit on ladder, but I don't really. I haven't seen any of them in person yet.
Mhm.
But we'll get there. I may. I don't know. We'll see. My schedule with the kid at home just does not leave a lot of time to play him. Eventually, I'll move on to like God of War or something.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I guess the last thing is just give us a little more history. When did you first get into Pokemon? Was it Gen 1, 2, 3,
Um,
4?
it was I guess technically Gen 4, I think. It was Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Mm-hmm.
Played Soul Silver. And then Black when it came out, and then White 2. And then I took a break for a while because I thought Fairy type was weird when XY and that stuff came out. It's like, why are they adding a new type? This is wrong.
Okay,
Stop it.
let me ask a question then. When did you get into competitive Pokemon? Was it
Um,
with Draft or did you play a little bit
it was
before?
it was with Draft, yeah.
Okay, that
I
makes
had
more
never
sense.
laddered or anything before then.
I laddered for a little bit in Gen 5 and then it made the fairy type feel like, oh, this makes a lot more sense. The dragon
Okay.
spam is unreal pre Gen 6 and I'm not saying it's
Okay.
broken or not broken. I'm not good enough at those metas to like make that kind of claim, but
Mhm.
I, I mean I say that, but then fairy types like busted too. So
Yeah, it's kind of insane.
I
But I guess Steel is there to check it, which is also insane, so I don't know.
yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just not a big fan of like fairies big stabs what Moonblast and it has some ridiculous that move's busted. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
95
At
base
least
power and it drops. It's like for all intents and purposes, it feels like a guaranteed drop of special attack.
yeah. At least Play Rough can miss, which is sort of appreciated.
I mean, if you have a Mega Maw, it always misses.
Yeah. I don't know that I ran it at all throughout the season. I don't think I ever ran Play Rough on my Mega Mall.
If you can get away with that, it just feels like then the Mon really like it starts to feel a lot better.
Yeah.
It's a 90% accuracy move, but like for Mega Mile, who you feel pretty good about it if it gets off 3 or 4 attacks in a game. That matters quite a bit.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so you got into Pokemon with like Gen 4, and Yeah, I guess timing wise.
What was that? My internet
No, I
decided to
said so.
turn
So you
off.
got into Pokemon with Gen 4, or towards the end of Gen 4. Did you know too
Yeah.
much about it beforehand, or did you kind of go in blind?
I mostly went in blind. I don't think that I knew much beforehand. I think I got it as like a Christmas gift along with a Nintendo DS Lite, which I still have.
All right. So who'd you pick for your starter?
Chikorita, which was a big mistake.
Ah,
That
that's
thing is
it.
awful.
All right. So you just kind of confirmed you went in blind.
Yeah.
um, all right. So I'm gonna kind of end this pretty soon here. I just got a few
Hmm.
more questions I want to ask. Just some trivia about you. Um, what's your favorite type of
Oh,
Pokemon? I
um,
should clarify.
hmm. I think probably ice because of Vanillix.
Would you say that's your favorite mon then?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay. So this is a weird question, and just like you don't have to have like an answer. Like when playing on Showdown, or I guess this is more applicable to me because I don't play on cart too much anymore. Do you have a favorite animation from a move?
Oh, I kind of like Darkest Lariat just because it looks so silly with them just spinning around at you.
I on Showdown, for me it has to be Flamethrower because it's just like such an incredibly satisfying. But I will say on cart it's got to be Z moves like the Supersonic Sky Strike from Lando, because Lando just kind
Oh
of
yeah,
like dives in, but he doesn't move. Like they didn't animate the model, so it's like just it's, like I know it's fun to like kind of poop on Pokemon for like poor animations for this, but like that it's nothing new. It's like the same since Gen 6. Like,
yeah.
oh man. All right, last little bit of trivia. Do you prefer physical attacking moves or special attacking moves?
I think special, which is ironic considering I chose mono use power pretty much on this last season.
I mean, you had a thunderous theory, and it doesn't get much more special attacking than that.
Yeah, and Politoed apparently.
I mean Specs isn't crazy on it.
Yeah,
Like I
that
didn't I didn't.
powerful devotion.
Oh, I mean it can set up, 3 or 4 calm minds and it's hitting hard.
I mean, it has the same special attack as Runic List, doesn't it?
It may. I'm not like super on the know for my like not fully evolved stat spreads.
Yeah, that's fine.
Other than Porygon 2. But
Well, yeah, that thing is.
I feel like that's cheating.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
it's
Well,
something.
we'll end it here because this has been about 15
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
Is there any last words you want to get in? Anything you want to say?
Um, go challenge me for the gym challenge thing, everybody.
All right, perfect. I want to say thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations once again. You are our season 2
Thank you.
champion, and I guess this makes you the cult messiah, the real one.
Woohoo.
He doesn't cheat. Um, so thanks again. It's been a pleasure having you on, and we will probably get you back on one of these things sometime soon. But thanks again. All right, thanks again, Yahoodles. Really appreciate you and your time and getting a chance to talk to you. Uh, and that'll do it. With that, this brings season 2 to a close. We have our champions, Froggy, Waka, and Yahoodles. And Yahoodles now is our cult messiah. So, thank you, everybody. It really means a lot to be able to play this draft league with you all, for you all to, have a good part in it like this. And, I just think it's a really special place, and you all are what make it special.
So if you haven't already, check out our gym challenge. It's a nice little OU tourney, and we got some cool challengers and some cool gym teams. I think you'd really like it. And if you're waiting around for info on season 3, I will say check back in about 2 weeks, and that's when we should have our official announcements on season 3. So, from the Cult of Larry Draft League, I'm Dr. Geo. Thank you all for spending the season with me and the rest of us. Peace.